Okay, cutting ribs. For the next 4 hours, I'm going to film myself cutting ribs. Now, you get the idea. Coat the end, nip the tail off, and repeat 96 times. That's what's happening next few hours. And not sure if I showed you guys, but cut up my trailer spring. Just sort of notched it. Not my best work, but pretty hard steel. Existing holes, I just filled those up and put 2 new holes for myself. Once again, I'm working without the fuselage here. Also got the undercarriage legs ready to paint. Well, how I'm going to hold them to paint on the stand. When the fuselage comes back, I have the primer out and prime those. Pull the tail wheel apart, probably prime that, paint that as well. Moving along. Just going through today and cleaning up the ends. Good deburr on the belt, 96 odd ribs. Cleaning up the ends, and then we'll crush the tails down. So a lot of repetitive work today. Another crude jig, just do whatever you have to do, lays it flat. And I'm getting the crimp started in the vise. It just gives me that sort of section in relation to the front of the rib, so keeps it square. That's how I'm doing it anyway. All the bottom ribs all done nicely. Got all the ends tapered, and they're as good as identical to me. All the fronts are deburred. I goobered up one rib. Now this guy here, split. That's in focus. Yeah, I cracked that one. So probably need a wingtip one or something like that. I got some spares, so we'll be one short. Probably need more anyway. All right, fuselage is back, job's on. Picked up the fuselage, got all the welds fixed up, repaired everywhere. Brian's gone over it for me, which is great. So we'll get some primer onto that. Got the tail wheel ready to prime, landing gear ready to prime. Now I've just etch primed scrap bit. I'm going to brush on some of this sample pot of olive drab just to see what I get, because I'm having trouble getting some that's ecology green in something that's a bit more durable on the undercarriage. So I'm going to whack a bit of paint on that, put it in the sun. While that's happening, my engine's sort of in the way, so what I always say is put wheels on it. So I got some wheels, $6 each from Bunnings. Going to mount those, screw them onto the pallet, then the engine can go probably over in that corner, because I've got to trestle this aircraft and we're going to get serious soon, guys. Alright guys, I always seem to be trying to paint in the cold weather. It's 5 degrees in the hangar this morning, so no painting at the moment, but this is what I did yesterday. So, epoxy primer on the fuselage. Took down, got it welded up, or the welds, you know, gone over again, and that's what we're left with. Now it's time to paint. I think I'll start at the front. If you've bought paint lately, like good 2-pack paint, it's about, well, the stuff I've got's $140 a litre or something. Ridiculous. So I've got 500 mils. Bear in mind that's 4 to 1, plus thin it down 30%. Do the math, probably 750 mils. And we'll spray. Now this thing's, I knew it'd be awkward to paint. There's just so many, it's all tubes. So you basically got to do every tube probably 4, maybe 5 times. The good thing with my little HVLP gun, you know, I get the fan down to about a 1 inch as opposed to 5-6 inch fan. Get it down to 1 inch. So you got very little wastage. It's all hitting the tube, but you just got to go along and colour it all in. And with the primer, it seemed to soak it up a bit, even though it's metal. But it went over that, you know, probably a couple of times on every tube. There's still a few light spots, but it's going to get covered anyway. That's where we're at the moment. A little bit of heavy metal work going on. So I'm chopping up my springs again. This is the price you pay for making stuff when I didn't have the fuselage here. So I think this guy's a bit short. The problem I've got is, and I feel like I need to do this now, get the tail wheel sorted, and I don't want the tail wheel to be dodgy. But you got a flat surface there and a flat surface there. So it means, you know, there's flat there. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm going to space that out as best I can. But I need it a bit longer. So there we go. Got the tail wheel on. Working with steel today is never good. Ended up putting a second leaf, 2-leaf spring, only in 3 bolts. Cleat goes at the front. I think I'll cover this first before I've got a 1 inch tube in there. I'll take the tube off, cover it, and then put the tube back on, rivet it on. The rivets will just hold it in place. But tail wheel looking a lot better than it was. So there you go, as the rain comes down, guys, fuselage is primed. Something told me I just needed to get the tail wheel done. So tail wheel's on. I don't know how bouncy or stiff it needs to be. Getting ready to paint. More stands. Jig for the fuselage when I work out where it's going to go. It's raining now. I really need to paint. I don't know if I should paint up to just the front half of the fuselage or paint the whole lot. Haven't got a great deal of paint. So I'll start at the front, see how far back I get potentially. Problem with that is I need to do the bottom first and then roll it over and do the rest. We'll see how we go. I also made up over here, just made up these brackets. I had it mounted on a bit of wood. When I jig the wings up, it's going to give me a subtle adjustment, so I can raise or lower the wing, and fore and aft, you know, for wing incidents, get it all nice and level. I think it's worth the effort. Obviously I'll lock one end with the 2 bolts, 2 nuts, and the other end is adjustable. Very similar to the top of the hangar doors. So you can see how that works. You know, I can wind the wing down or back up. I basically just want something, I want to be able to build a structure, throw the wings up, and then do the subtle changes as required, rather than try and support everything. My concern is, I guess, that you know, if things topple over, I can open the end of the tubes. On a brighter note, time to go home. We've got a bit of an OH&S incident in the shed today. I actually set fire to myself on the grinder. Doing the tail wheel, I caught fire. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.